Hey, welcome back to Freedom Algo. So today was the post-election dramatic kind of price action day. So you can see here there's a lot of candles. This is the overnight over here, just kind of shot all the way up, had this big leg up, pull back, and then a big second measured leg up. That was all the way up until about 1 in the morning or so. And then it kind of went sideways. And then we opened the day right around here on this little high. And then it came down and we trended down to the bottom of this range here. And then we kind of are trending back up all the way towards the highs. And I would not be surprised if we actually make new all-time highs before the day ends. Um, Most likely that's where it looks like it's headed. So let's go over to here and we'll zoom in, take a look here. But yeah, there's a lot of volume today, just a lot of price action, a lot of volatility, and unfortunately, there was actually not as many good setups as you'd want for the amount of volatility coming in. But that can happen when the market gets a little sporadic. There's a lot of traps and there's definitely some stuff that I didn't mark on here that you could argue for. Um, just for example, like this is a little bit before I was trading, but you could see this as a double bottom and you have a first entry, second entry short that fails to a new high there. That could be a possibility. But anyway, let's look at the trades that actually fit within the time frame that we usually trade. So we'll zoom in here. You can see here we came off the highs of the range. We had bounced there a few or rejected there a few times. We had a new high after this trend, but you do have to consider that there was a possible wider trend like this, and this is the first close outside. So if that's the case, you have a break, and you basically have. So you could either have this look at this as a break, move to a new high, and this is the second leg to a go up, or you could look at it as this is the first break, so we're expecting a new high. Either way, doesn't matter. It gets you to the same place and they're both valid. And basically, it pulls back. You get a first entry, pull back, second entry long. It's not the perfect signal bar. It is bullish overall, but it's below the EMA. It's kind of in no man's land here. You're not at the bottom of the range. So it's not perfect, but you are expecting probably at least a retest of this, hopefully a new high, but you don't know. But I think that was a pretty safe trade to take. Then you end up getting this down channel working, and you kind of get a lot of this today where you have these channels that don't really get a break and a new low for a while. It was kind of sporadic. So there's really nothing in here you can trade. It's kind of all no man's land. There's a lot of dojis, just a lot of weird sideways congestion type stuff. It was just very indecisive. There's not really very much you can do on failed second entries. The range is too big to just, you don't want to take just random trades here. Even though this one was tempting at 630, it was really bearish looking, but you're still within this up channel, so you just couldn't take it. It does come down here and gives you the new low and a close outside, and then you get another leg down, and you get a nice reversal bar here. And this kind of, you could look at this kind of like a triple test. You have this one, this one, this one. It's kind of like a triple test. Midline of the range at the time, it would have been kind of like the range lows, because I think earlier in the day I had the range lows drawn off of here, and I had it like that, and it's actually like basically a perfect tap of that level. So it really is a nice triple test in that way. So that was a nice trade. I marked it green just because of how low this one got over here. You don't know for sure if this is not that convincing right here. It could very well have been the case that you're going to get another leg down before it goes up. Comes up, close outside, new high. Don't really get a trade though because it's just a doji. So it just goes sideways here. Finally, it comes over and gives you this rejection, and you do break out of the bottom side of where you had the support. And on this one, you get a strong downtrend. So I marked this one green as just a pullback to the trend line with a bearish bar. You are going short into the lows of the session, but you're so far away from these lows down here. It's likely that's where we're going to go test. So I think if you took that, you could argue for it. It's definitely aggressive though. After that, you get a close outside, new low, couple swings down. It doesn't really do much here, but you do get this trap. So you got this high here, and you get a first entry pullback, second entry long on a higher low, but it actually fails. So, this is just one of those ones where you could also look at it as a first entry. It's kind of a second entry short when it goes below that, but it's really just trapping the longs. A bunch of people got trapped right there, and then it just took off lower. So I think that you were safe to take that. It was, again, that's a little bit more advanced. So then it comes down here. You do get sort of like a double bottom here. You don't really get a setup here, unfortunately. There is a first entry, second entry short, but you can't take that. That's just sketchy. You're within this up channel. It's not a convincing close outside or anything. But I looked at this as the close outside and then the move to a new high right here. And then you get a lower high, but no good signal bar. Comes down. This is another one of those traps. So basically what you get here is you could look at this and you could say first entry long, second entry long that gets another equal high, and then it fails right below. And so this is one of those ones where if you went short right below this bar, you could take that as a trap and just get a scalp. Really easy trade. Then you finally get a really nice long here. I looked at this as like kind of like all one new high, and it's on the bigger swing of things, it's a first entry, second entry long. It's also a new low after the break of this down channel, so that played out, and it kind of confirms this up channel. So I like that one. That one goes up pretty well. You don't really get much runners today. It was so volatile that it was coming back and stopping out runners. So you do have to be aware of that. It then comes up. There's not a whole lot up here. I had all these measured legs drawn, so I measured this leg right here that went to there. We did get that play out, and then I measured the longer measured leg here, off of the other low over there. And basically, all that I was looking at here was you could kind of look at this almost like there's like a spike and channel working up. And really, the midline of the two-tiered channel is working as a really nice support. And so, you can't really take this first one, but this one here, I think if you took that it's even though it's just a first entry, I think it was okay to be aggressive there because this is another one of those strong trends. And it was just squeezing out the shorts. It's all first entries till it makes the high. Finally, you get this kind of lower high, and then it reverses, breaks out of the bottom here. So you are expecting a new high on this up channel at some point. And what you get is, did this move on me? Might have moved on me a bit. Anyway, you have this down channel working. You are expecting a new high at some point, but you got to respect this down channel as it plays out. You do get this low here, and then you get a pullback, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, really bearish bar off the EMA. It's the third tap of this spot, so it does confirm this as a down channel. So I like that one. It's a nice safe trade. Then finally it comes down here, breaks out of this channel, makes a new low right there. And then you get this. You get a higher low here, but I just don't think I don't think it's safe to take a trade there yet. So what I looked at this as is a first entry short, second entry short failure when it goes above this bar. So just a reversal pattern. And I thought that was a nice one because at this point it's making higher lows and still are expecting a new high on this channel. It then forms a new channel and it goes up, and you get this move here where you get a pullback, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, and that is right off of this key entry point. You don't know for sure if that's going to be that good. This is marked as green because this is kind of a doji. I don't know if that really does close in the upper third or not. So it's not a perfect setup, but I did mark it just as a possibility. If your signal bar was a little better, I'd say you could take that. My signal bar wasn't good enough to take it, but I did mark it just in case you had a different looking setup there. So then it comes up, and what you get here is just a first entry, pullback, second entry long. And then basically here, it's kind of like a 1-2 triple test and a long, and you have room to the high. So I just think that you're still within this up channel. So I think that one was reasonable. It comes up and it pulls back and gives you this really bullish candle. And again, you could look at that as a triple test off of that level, a very exact sort of triple test. It also goes right off of the key entry point on the trend line. So that's a nice, easy one, really bullish bar. Comes over, gives you another reversal here. This one, I don't think you could trade this on the engulfing bar. I think you have to wait for this to close, but it still works out fine. And then finally it comes up and you get a first entry, second entry short off of this. Now at the time, you would have had this drawn lower, so it was a failed breakout of the range. That's what that was. Second entry short, failed breakout. But it was pretty bullish. It is the new high on this channel after the close outside. So I think you can take that, but it is kind of risky. A lower high would have been better, but you don't get one. Comes down. Now we have this up channel working. So we end up coming back to the range lows. We bounce there. You don't really get any good setups. And we kind of form this new up channel. And it looks like we're working up to the measured move. We got within one tick, it looks like. So we're really close. I will call this one out. We had a new high here. Pullback. First entry. Pullback. Second entry long. You can't take this because it's into the high. But I will say that while this was forming, it almost closed. It's just like a bullish candle right here. But the last second of the candle, it shot up like crazy. So there was no way to really enter it. But I did want to just mention it, that this was a second entry long that would have worked on probably some people's charts, just not mine. I was going to take it, though, if it closed properly, which I thought it was going to, but it ended up doing something really wild. And I think that what that is that a lot of people keep trying to get short, and they're just getting completely rinsed. There's just a lot of traps, a lot of squeezes today, and that's what it looks like to me. We are coming up to the range high now, so it's hard to say for sure if where this thing's going. I think again that it's going to go to the all-time high. I think that man, you could tell this thing wants to go up to 6,000. It's pretty far away though, but you could tell it's trying. It's going to make the measured move here most likely, probably to the tick, and then also it's got the range high. There's the measured move that we had on here, and you can see how this played out. You had that measured move right there. Really nice price action. You got to love those. And I will say this, there was a point where I was actually looking at this as all one big channel. And there is a possibility that this right here is all one big channel. Something like this. It looks like, that does fit. It doesn't fit perfect. Like you don't get a tap there. You do get the touches all right here. And then you're kind of far away from it. So the reason I didn't love it is I just didn't feel like it fit as well. It does work. Like it does fit. And then in that case, you could argue that there's no break or anything. But I don't know. I just felt like this fit better because it was like kind of a range for a little while and then a new channel up. And we've seen that a lot lately on these bullish days where you kind of have these sort of break, new high, pull back, and then like a new channel forms. And yeah, maybe it all fits in one. It's all the same directional bias, but so yeah. So you can see here we're at the range highs now, and we got these wicks above us to make a new all-time high. We're probably gonna do it. Yeah, we're probably gonna do it. Unfortunately, there's not really any trades in here just because of the way that this thing was. And you can see how sideways and choppy it is. Like you get ripped up pretty quick on these. And some of these candles are huge. Like that's a 19 tick bar. So you do have to be careful today. I mean, earlier in the day, like if you were trading over here, like some of these candles, like that one's 26 ticks. That one's 22, 17. Like there was like almost no small candles. There's a 9 tick one. That was like about as small as it got earlier. It was pretty wild. So you did have to be careful today trading those because there's just a lot of aggressive movement. So I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'll be back to do it tomorrow, and I'll see you then.